Hey guys, good morning. I am so excited to talk to you about our adulting topic today, self-sabotage. So, have you ever tried to make a behavior change that just hasn't stuck? So, you're trying to do something differently in your life and you have really great intentions, but somehow you're just not able to change your habit. You're not able to change your behavior or your mindset. And it can be really frustrating, like why I have the best intentions. I know exactly what it is I want to be doing, but for some reason, I'm just not able to make that change. So there is this concept called self-sabotage, which might be useful for you to understand. And it's all based on the premise that humans like things that are familiar. And this is how we've been able to evolve over the years. We actually are able to identify the things that are familiar and safe, and that has kept us physically, mentally, and emotionally safe because we have experiences with something. We have, the affirmation that, okay, this is an okay thing for me to be doing. I'm not going to be harmed. If I eat this food, if I talk to this person, if I go to this place, if I wake up and do my day in this way, like I know at least that I'll be okay if I do it this way. And those things that a habit, essentially a routine, a way of life, becomes familiar. And so when we make a change or we want to grow, we have to make a change. And we have to go away from what is familiar. And because essentially we've evolved because we are successfully able to identify what is and isn't familiar and we stick with what's familiar, it can be really scary to move towards things that are unfamiliar. And the idea of self-sabotage is that our desire to stick with what's familiar is so strong that even if we know some action is helping us, our kind of first gut instinct is to go back to what's familiar. Even if intellectually we know, no, I want to be doing this new behavior, like I want to be saving more money, our gut instinct just goes back to what is familiar. That's just so ingrained in us and in how we evolve that we will actually actively self-sabotage our way back to the routine that we know best. So what does this mean? This means that we have to be aware when we're going to go in and make a change. We have to be aware that this self-sabotage might happen, and we have to be conscious of it so it's not the subconscious bias of, okay, I'm going to go back to doing this thing because my new routine, my new goal is too unfamiliar, so that we can push forward long enough for the change to become familiar, right? This is kind of like creating a habit where you have to do it for 21 days for it to become a habit. That's somewhat, it's like a related concept, but this one is even more. So for example, if I am trying to save money, I'm trying to like accumulate more wealth, and I'm used to maybe spending my money, so I just have like just enough to cover the bills, and I'm used to spending my money in a certain way, but I'm always able to make it, so I know I'm kind of safe if I have this routine. And then I start taking a couple $100s out of my paycheck every month and putting it into a savings account, but then I'm only left with like a smaller number to actually cover all of my bills and do what I want to do in my life. And that might work once or twice, but it's highly likely that you're going to revert back to how you had started out. You're going to revert back to not putting that money in the savings account and just keeping that money and using the spending habits that you had before. Because it's almost scarier to put the money in the savings account and have less to work with in your life, because you haven't done that before and you don't know, like, am I going to be able to cover all of my expenses? Am I going to be able to, like, will I have to change my lifestyle to match this? And you don't know, will I be safe? And that sounds so, like, I know how it can, how we intellectually get ahead of ourselves and say, well, I know it's good for me, so I'm just going to be able to do it this new way. Like, once I decide, I've decided, and through my willpower, I will make it so. But if you really watch human behavior, that's not how it goes down. So there has to be a reason for why we aren't able to make changes in the way that we typically want to. And one of those reasons is this concept of self-sabotage. And it's not the end of the world to be able to recognize, hey, I'm sabotaging myself right now. Like, I wanted to get 8 hours of sleep, and yet I am laying awake at bed on Instagram, for example, at midnight, and I'm just not turning off my phone. That would be an example of self-sabotage if you were trying to go to bed at 11. Like, you know what to do, but you just don't do it because what is familiar to you is staying awake on your phone. And you know that you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to make it. Like, somewhere in your subconscious, your mind is saying, this is what we always do, so we're just going to keep doing this. But if you're able to see, okay, I think this is self-sabotage, then it just brings it into a new light where you can like take the action outside of your body and understand it a little bit more and maybe make a conscious choice to do it differently, to say, no, I'm self-sabotaging. I know that I'm just trying to stick with what's familiar, but I need to do something that's slightly uncomfortable, like turn off my phone or put more money in the bank until it becomes familiar. And then that change will be able to stick. I hope that this is a useful concept. Let me know if you've had any examples in your life where you did self-sabotage. Feel free to comment down here, over here, wherever it is. I would love to hear kind of how you see this showing up in your life now that you have this concept to look at your life through and your desire to make change. And I'm going to link again to our Dream Job Formula workbook here in the description of the video. So if you didn't download it the other day, make sure you download it today. Everyone who's downloaded it so far has loved it. And I really want to make sure we get it out to as many people as possible because we made this beautiful free workbook. If you're on Instagram, it's in our bio. If you're on Facebook, I'll just put it in the comments or the description of the video. So make sure you download the Dream Job workbook that we created for free for you guys. And I hope that this self-sabotage concept is useful to you. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Thursday. Bye.